just what is the state of the art of these particular products. You might want to be searching along the lines of an indication that you want to develop a product for, or it might be focused down into a pharmacological class. But basically, you're interested in making sure you have a good grasp on what is out on the marketplace. Who are those manufacturers? And those existing manufacturers will be your eventual competitors if you pull out this product and put it on the market. So finding those competitors, what are their products, and how do they offer some packaging? What are the ingredients, the active ingredients that they use? What's the formulation, dosage form, and there's many other data attributes about that product that you can pull together and do some research on. So I'm going to ask David now to talk a little bit about, with this particular task at hand, how does one go about pulling this information together using the FDA tools? And then, David, if you also move forward on and then talk about how ReadTech provides the navigator that helps answer these questions.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. And in looking at the information and supporting the organizations we work with, this problem isn't just a human prescription drug problem or an over-the-counter industry problem. These are challenges that any organization distributing or manufacturing drugs have and come about. And that's where each of these scenarios, while we might be presenting initially on a specific segment of the industry, they are all common, right? Common challenges. It just might compound in different areas differently. And so really, we're very lucky here in the States that the FDA adopted structured product labeling XML so early. They were able to then put in place various tools like FDA Label more recently, National Library of Medicine's DailyMed. We have the NDC directory, labels at FDA, right? The list goes on. And really what we started doing is honing in on what are those tools in each of these scenarios that are typically more utilized, right? And when I say mostly utilized, we do a lot of assistance with organizations, a lot of research where we're trying to help make sense of things as well, because it's confusing, right? Especially when an organization's either early on in the stage of product development, which this scenario is talking about, and then as products mature or even a product portfolio grows, as we'll get into in future scenarios. But really with what FDA is providing, again, these are great resources, they're free. One of the comments I'd make is that it's great that you can just go and access it, right? They do provide full text search, being able to search upon different types of terms, different parameters within your search. But some of the main things to keep in mind is that when it comes to like FDA label, it's also going to provide some additional and helpful links to other information, right? Cross-referencing it across to different FDA databases. So it's, while you can access and find that information here in that specific database, it might take you elsewhere, right? To help you hone in on what you're looking for. And then both FDA Label and DailyMed are providing access to the currently approved drug listed versions if it's in the OTC perspective, right? So it's current data, right? And what this next slide shows you is what these databases look like. So on the left, we see FDA Label, right? The different parameters you're able to enter in. In the middle, I provided a screenshot of DailyMed's advanced search, where you can do different types of kind of more advanced, instead of just searching for a product name or an NDC code. And then on the right is the National Drug Code Directory, or NDC directory. I presented both the search function within the NDC directory, and when I like to look at the additional references or just the raw data, right, either in Excel or a text format that you can just kind of hone in and find and see all data instead of just what the search parameters provide back. So yeah, that's a bit about how FDA is assisting with some of this now, or these free tools are assisting. Now at ReadTech, over the last almost decade now, we've been assisting industry. Navigator's had a couple names throughout its lifetime, but at its very core, searching for content, right? Searching for labels is really its sweet spot, right? Having the ability to search across current and historical versions of all drug labels that have ever been drug listed. That's really at its essence what Navigators is assisting you with in putting at a user's fingertips is all that historical data as well. Now, as we go through the different scenarios, we'll talk more and more and kind of layer in the additional functionality, but we'll start with just kind of that simple indication search, right? This is typically where we find a lot of our users that might be working for organizations that are in that drug development stage, discovery stage, where you might be searching for a very specific indication or a very specific term that might be one day put into the indications and usage section of your drug label. So on the left side, I started with a very broad search where like lymphoma, right? And as you can see below, just by the sheer number of, and I'll get the laser pointer out here, by the sheer number of results we found, this was in almost thousands of drug labels that we find with the term lymphoma found in the indications and usage section. Well, the idea is you could either expand upon that by clicking the plus button, right? It's a very easy to use interface to hone in on that search, or even very specifically search for like a cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, and then it hones that down into just 90 something results in the system. So really that initial searching, it's not just a matter of searching a drug name or conditional search. There are also additional attributes you can search upon, product characteristics, right? So if you're looking for a specific dosage form, if you want to search across a specific category or type of product, NDA, BLA, over the counter, and so forth. The system houses all of that information. Ingredient search, right? This is one of my favorites. I always love just going in there, searching in for active ingredients, inactive ingredients, and you really the idea and concept of what I've done in this ingredient search is I found information on my indication search and then honed in on a specific ingredient that I wanted to specify in my search here. Now, one of the great things about Navigator then is it allows you to save this information, right, in what's called the My Library. So we'll talk a bit more about the library in a moment, because that is truly some of the primary differences in what you'll see between the types of tools Reed Tech and Industry provides versus those that are typically free, right? It's providing more of a personalized user experience. Now, from the results here that I had honed in on, what we're then able to view is, I'm just kind of focusing in on it, is instead of just the hundreds of label results I may have had, that overwhelming amount, by then focusing in, I'm able to then see specific drugs or specific products that are on the market. But really what I always like is seeing within these search results, we can get a good sense of how many of these actually might still be active. Now, you can click into it and then really review and see the data, or just by looking and searching across, you can start looking at it and adding things to your library as needed, which again, we'll touch upon in just a moment.